Hi, Gregg and Dave Boling here at Century Link Field in Seattle after just another normal ho-hum Seahawks night of football. 31-25, they somehow escape and manage to go to 5-2-1, which is second best in the NFC. 2 games up in the NFC West, despite running for 33 yards total the entire game. That's their fewest in more than 5 years. In September of 2011 in Pittsburgh, they lost that game 24-0. They won this 31-25 because Russell Wilson was 20 of 26 throwing, despite 4 sacks behind the poorest offensive line. But Jimmy Graham was phenomenal. And tonight was why Jimmy Graham came to Seattle for a 2-time Pro Bowl center and a first-round draft pick in the spring of 2015. And I think the first time we saw Russell Wilson show he trusts Graham to throw it into coverage, no matter who's covering him, no matter where on the field. I think finally, after a year and a half and surgery on his knee, Wilson finally believes in Graham at any point in the field, no matter if he's covered or not.
It's also the first time since the first half of the first game that Russell Wilson has kind of looked like Russell Wilson, moving around a little bit. He only rushed for, 10 yards or what have you, but he was nimble. He was elusive on that first pressure that he was receiving. But this one, you come away from this game and you look at the stats and say, how in the world did the Seahawks win this game? 40 minutes possession to 20 minutes, Buffalo's favor. 30 first downs. The Seahawks gave up 12 third down conversions on 17 third downs. They rushed for 33 yards and give up 162 yards. I just look at it and think this is impossible. They had 82 plays. The Buffalo Bills had 82 plays. The Seahawks had 42. You get a punt block to give up short field.
425 total yards for the Bills.
Crazy. This was a crazy game, and it is just one of those things that Seahawks, they say, we find a way. And this was an example of that. Now, the last couple of weeks, they haven't found the way. And I think as Pete Carroll was saying, I think we've really got a lot in front of us. And if they can win a game like this, really be currently the number 2 seed in the NFC, playing the way they played, it makes you wonder what can happen in the second half.
What can happen Sunday night in New England is if this defense doesn't play better, they're going to get run off the field. They're not going to be able to give up 17 play drives, 13 play drives for scores, 12 play drives for scores. They did that tonight and still won. This defense has given up, I think it is now 20, they were 7 of 12 tonight. They had 12 of 17 on third down tonight, Buffalo was. So that's
15.
21 for the last 32 third downs. They've allowed first down. They're not getting off the field. They almost blew the game at the end by Buffalo moving all the way from their own 40 to the Seahawks 10 without a timeout in the last 2 minutes. It took another brilliant play by Cliff Averill, who's been a spectacular player in the first half of the season. He now has 9 sacks on the year. And then it took Bobby Wagner and Frank Clark crashing in on Tyrod Taylor. They withstood a personal foul penalty, a roughing the passer penalty on Wagner. And then in the last play, Clark crashed in and forced Taylor to make a bad throw in this end zone right here. That was the final play for Buffalo that ended it. I don't think this team will get to where it wants to go with its defense giving up drives in the yards.
And not rushing the ball. The characteristics of the Pete Carroll football team, going back to USC, run the ball, play tough defense, rely on special teams to give you field position. How many of those did they do?
None out of 3?
0 out of 3.
No.
So I think if we're looking for an identity of this team, maybe they've got a new one. And there's got to be some kind of magic on this too, because statistically it doesn't pencil out.
I'm convinced that Thomas Rawls coming back is the last savior for the rushing game. C.J. Prosise got more carries again tonight. Christian Michael and C.J. Prosise combined for 10 yards on 8 carries. That was their running back out.
Leading rusher was Tyler Lockett, 1 carry for 13 yards.
On an end around. They're not going to win in January playing like this. They're not going to be playing Buffalo in January playing like this. And I know Pete Carroll said they're optimistic and the best was ahead of them, and it's true. Wilson will get even healthier. Tyler Lockett will get even healthier. Michael Bennett will come back. Cam Chancellor, Carroll said, will be back to play against the Patriots Sunday night. The best is ahead of this team, but how good is their best right now?
And it makes you wonder, how good do they have to be? The league stinks.
Yeah.
There is one or two good teams, and the Seahawks are right on the edge of that if you look at them in terms of their schedule. But there's nobody without flaws, and everybody can be beat, and this team has enough talent. You get Bennett back, Chancellor back, Rawls back, they could really go on a run, or else the lug nuts could come flying off, and who knows what happens. I have given up kind of thinking about where this team is headed.
There's a lug nut caution game Sunday night in Foxborough because the Patriots are 7-1 and Tom Brady's at home, which I think he loses once a decade or so. Although this Buffalo team did beat the Patriots without Tom Brady 16-0 last month. We'll be here to watch yet another exciting action on Sunday night. Who knows what's in store for the Patriots and the Seahawks, but thanks for watching this one, and thanks for watching the News Tribune.